Thank you. I really enjoy this. I think that we need to see more examples of those who are on your end of things and truly regret. Like, what did I do? Right? Because when someone who has committed infidelity can take responsibility for themselves, there are so many options. There really is true healing that can come from this.
Yeah, I don't care. If you are in a committed relationship with one person and then make the conscious decision to consensually engage in bedroom antics with another person, then you have betrayed the trust and sanctity of the original relationship. And once that happens, I couldn't care less about how the cheater feels. They forfeited any sympathy the second they decided to betray their significant other. And let's be real here, if you show remorse for cheating, it's not because you regret the cheating itself. The only regret you have is that you got caught. And that's not taking accountability. That's a pathetic attempt to save face. Regret doesn't change the fact that you made the active decision to completely destroy the trust and loyalty of your significant other. And showing any form of regret doesn't change a thing. That dog ain't gonna hunt, sister.
And now, you're in another relationship down the line because that previous one didn't work out as a result of your cheating. And now you're even happier because you have clarity and you've learned from your actions, and your partner probably had a role in it as well.
You! I will think of you as I throw up into the toilet.
Woman, let me pose you this scenario. Let's say that you were caught cheating at the blackjack table at the Bellagio. Now, you were caught red-handed, and there is no chance you're going to be able to talk your way out of it. After getting caught, you look at the pit boss, take him aside, and say that you were very, very sorry for cheating right before they kicked you out the front door in front of about a dozen drunken Midwestern tourists who have infinitely more worth than you. Now, you're expecting the next casino to take pity on you and give you their patience and understanding when it comes to your cheating ways. With that being said, should the Venetian, knowing that you cheated in the past, take pity on you and give you a chance? Well, if they do, then they deserve whatever hell's coming to them. The same rule applies for infidelity. If you cheat on your significant other, it shows that you're selfish, untrustworthy, unintelligent, and willing to take things for granted, and nobody should be taking on that kind of a risk. Once you cross that line, there is no going back.
I have had many clients who have dealt with infidelity, and what sets certain clients apart from others is whether the spouse or partner who cheated is willing to take responsibility for themselves and not point fingers and not give excuses, you drove me to do this, right? If we truly accept our responsibility in things, that changes things. It truly can change the way a partner is perceiving you. And it can truly change how and if they want to move forward with you and learn to regain that trust or not.
No.
Hang on for a second. You're seriously sitting there and giving an impassioned speech for cheaters who say, "My bad"? You haven't even taken a second to pause to even recognize the emotional turmoil that goes through the other person's life once they found out this person they trusted cheated on them. When the average dude gets cheated on, it completely shatters his perception of reality itself and forever changes him, typically for the worst. But I guess we need to disregard that little piece of inconvenience and focus more on the healing journey of a person who utterly decimated the relationship in the first place. Accountability or not, that decision was made and there's no taking it back, no matter how much regret you fake. Woman, you could charge a penny a session for your services and you'd still be grossly overcharging your pathetic excuse for clientele.
Ha! You call yourself a psychiatrist?
So I recently joined an Incel forum, under a male nickname, of course. And even though I previously read many reports that investigated sites just like that one, what I read there was still much worse than I imagined. I can't even go into too much detail here because I'll probably be banned. So for the full story, go to the link in my profile. But I will say this much. These young boys and men, they don't really see women as human beings. They believe we are a different, inferior species that have to serve them. They compare us to dogs and sheep and other animals. And not surprisingly, they believe we shouldn't have any rights.
And...
Wait a second, you mean to tell me that you found a message board that was frequented by angry trolls on the internet? Well, I am just shocked. The next thing you're gonna tell me is that they have a system that can be used to deliver pizzas to people's houses. How can you be shocked at this, woman? It's the internet. Every single niche has some form of fringe group of extreme people who are incredibly angry. I should know. I'm a hardcore Song of Ice and Fire fan. This is nothing new. Nothing that you've said is shocking in the slightest. Not even your own blatant lack of self-awareness, especially from militant feminists who demand the forced imprisonment of men they disagree with politically, who say that men should be nothing but forced breeding stock, and not to mention the algorithmically friendly movement of short-haired birthing people who demand the mass culling of men for reasons they never fully articulate. But go ahead and tell me more about how this message board is somehow worse.
They claim women injure themselves and then blame men to put them in prison. They made up theories, some of them using literal Nazi studies, that state we don't really feel pain and that we are not sentient enough. And so it's okay to abuse and rape us, and that's what we want anyway. They also believe that the solution to inceldom lies in government-mandated girlfriends and wives that each incel can access. These women would be required to attend monthly STD testing, couldn't legally refuse sex, and once they expire, they would be transferred to a female-only concentration camp.
Boring.
Government-mandated girlfriends? Well, that just sounds like a terrible idea all the way around. Why should world governments force single men to have girlfriends when they could just legalize prostitution and save themselves the headache of paperwork? Seriously, woman, who cares? So what if they say crap like that? Do they live in an alternate reality where message board posts magically become real? Honestly, if that was the case, I wouldn't mind living in that universe for a couple of days. Something tells me that reality would be a refreshing change of pace from the sheer insanity that you and your brood peddle on a day-to-day basis. The only thing that's shocking to me is how you think spying on an incel message board somehow garners you getting sympathy clicks for your dumbass article. I'm not even sure I'd have the brain cells to spare for reading such drivel. But the entertainment value might be through the roof because you are kind of stupid. I don't know. What do you think, gentlemen and gents? Should I risk the loss of my sanity by reading this article for you guys? Let me know in the comments section.
Now, I know that many people still dismiss the threat of incel terrorism by claiming that it's just a small group of sad men. Well, it isn't small at all. The forum I joined has thousands of active users and gets millions of views per month. And that's just one of many, many others just like that out there. So no, we can't really dismiss this movement, this twisted, sick, and hateful ideology, because it poses a danger to us all, and especially women and girls.
Are you seriously implying that a group of a couple thousand internet trolls are on the same level as modern day feminists? Okay, woman, let's go there. Feminism is a toxic ideology of hate that brainwashes women into thinking that 95% of planet Earth's men are worthless monsters that have been inexplicably oppressing them for years. It's a hateful system that convinces women to break up their families and live meaningless lives of hedonistic servitude while completely disregarding human pair bonding. It teaches young women to ignore their biological clocks and live debauched lives while simultaneously shaming any woman who decides to live a fairly traditional lifestyle with a husband and a family. It's also infected every single aspect of entertainment, private enterprise, and governmental policy making. And it's been effective to the point where birth rates are so low that it's all but guaranteed the complete collapse of Western society. But never mind that. It's the fault of a couple thousand internet trolls.
This is just so shocking. I mean, I must just be so monumentally naive.
You are.
Okay, I need to know if you would take this job if you were me. So it's super flexible. I would never have to go to an office, but there wouldn't be set hours. I'd have to be like on call all hours of the day or night if they needed me. It would be super meaningful and like valuable work. And I'd be so important to the success of, especially like my boss. He could not do what he does without me, but I wouldn't get a paycheck per se. I'd get my room and board covered. I'd get health insurance. I'd like get spending money probably if I need it. And retirement, if I stay forever, I'd like kind of get retirement, but I wouldn't ever fully be able to completely retire. It's just like a big portion of my job duties would kind of like decrease after 25 or so years when my like core team moves on.
What in God's holy name are you blathering about?
Oh, look who it is. Hello there, Agnes. Looks like you're still assuming makeup counts as a personality trait, I take it. All right, that's right. I forgot. I couldn't care less. Now, Agnes, I get it. You're bitter that you're over 30, unmarried, and more barren than the entire continent of Antarctica. But come on, if you want someone to blame, just take a look at the mirror and then look down at the foot you shot repeatedly. I don't see how you're able to commentate on the subject of housewives when you've never been one, you will never be one, and the only evidence you have is based on AMC dramas that you binge watch on Saturday nights instead of doing something meaningful with your life. It sounds to me like you're trying to convince yourself that being a housewife is a bad thing, but we can all tell you desperately want to be one.
I wouldn't get sick days and the job security would not be great. Like I could be fired kind of like unexpectedly if my boss just doesn't want me around anymore, or he doesn't like me enough anymore, no matter how good I'm doing at the job. So that wouldn't be good. And it's kind of like under the table, so I wouldn't be able to sue in that situation.
Say what now? What now?
Agnes, your metaphor game is just as bad as your knowledge of being a wife, but I'm not surprised. You're incapable of either one. The American divorce court system is so corrupted that it overwhelmingly supports women. This is the reason why 80% of Western divorces are initiated by women. Hell, getting alimony is one of the reasons why these broads get married in the first place. A husband isn't gonna just randomly initiate divorce when he gets sick of you. If he's the one initiating a divorce, 8 times out of 10, there is a damned good reason. In fact, if you're putting in the effort into keeping the marriage alive, it normally will be reciprocated. It really doesn't take much to keep a husband happy. You know what the problem is, Agnes? You think putting in any effort into making your hubby happy is too much work. So you're better off just saying that you're lazy. We already know the truth, Agnes.
And I wouldn't have a reference for like a next job. That's a stay-at-home mom. That's a stay-at-home wife. So if you as a man want your partner to do that, if you think that's what good men do, they gift that life to their partner, but you wouldn't do it yourself, who is it for? Is it for them? Is it a gift to them, or is it a gift to you?
I would rather you just said thank you and went on your way.
It is a gift to you, Agnes. There aren't many men out there who can support an entire household on one income, not in this lousy economy. So if you marry this man, you are marrying someone of considerable wealth. And if he's providing you with a home, food, security, companionship, stability, loyalty, love, and warmth, then it's really not asking much for you to make a casserole and pick up a vacuum cleaner every now and again, now is it? And if you're not cooking or cleaning or providing that man with regular bedroom fun, then what exactly are you contributing to his life? Why should this man be sharing his resources with you? Trust me, Agnes, at your age, you really should be focusing more on what you can provide this imaginary husband of yours than building up resentment for a man who clearly doesn't exist.
You acknowledge what she's doing is working, and in this country we fought very long and hard for workers' rights and workers' protections, but we excluded work done inside the home because we don't value what women do. If you as a husband are going to take away a woman's ability to provide for herself, to get those protections from the public sphere, you become the source of those protections. If you want a stay-at-home partner but you don't want to provide those protections, including sharing the income that's brought into the household with that partner in the event the marriage ends, then I think you need to ask yourself, why am I getting married? No one's forcing you to get married. But also, do I want a partner in marriage, or do I want someone who's dependent on me? Do I want an exploitable source of labor?
No offense, but it sounds like some fucking commie gobbledygook.
No, Agnes, men do not want partners. That's a dehumanizing term that completely negates the meaning of the relationship. It's emasculating and shows that you have nothing but contempt for men in general. By calling it a partnership, it shows that you question this man's ability to lead. And in order for a marriage or any relationship to work, that man must lead and the woman must trust the man's leadership, which you clearly don't. Agnes, you are openly disrespecting this imaginary husband by telling him that you refuse to do anything to make the relationship work without financial compensation. And if that's the case, that man would be better off hiring a prostitute and making his own sandwich. It's cheaper and a hell of a lot more dignified than dealing with you and your own special brand of pointless ball breaking.
And if you truly believe that wives should be dependent on their husbands, should provide labor to a marriage and get nothing in return if that marriage ends, then why are you surprised that these women resent their husbands? At least a real boss does not exploit you while pretending to love you and care about you as a human being.
Agnes, you anthropomorphic canker sore, you have never been gainfully employed, have you? Ask anybody who's worked for a boss and they'll tell you the worst thing you can do in a professional career is to work hard. All that boss is gonna do is recognize that you're willing to needlessly bust your ass while he will exploit that, and maybe at the end of the year, if you're lucky, you'll get an extra nickel an hour for your toil. On the contrary, if you are married to a man and you're a stay-at-home wife, that man will most likely do his best to recognize everything you do. Will it be perfect? Of course not. But Agnes, no matter what this man does, you will always find reasons to bitch because you're not making any money. So you should go out there and get yourself a job, Agnes. That way you can be treated the way you think a housewife gets treated, and you'll get to pay taxes and finally contribute something of worth to society for once in your meaningless life. And that's gonna do it for today's video, gentlemen and gents, and as always, if you find that my particular brand of humor is bringing you to the brink of laughter, then why don't you scroll on down and click that like and subscribe button, maybe ring the notification bell, leave a couple of comments, share this video, let's get together, get the good old-fashioned middle finger to the YouTube algorithm. The elevator to success may be out of order, but that don't matter because we're taking the stairs and we'll see each other at the top floor, gentlemen and gents. Thank you so much for checking out the new video, and until next time, peace out, homies.